Greetings, everyone. Today I'm with Jim, and I will be doing an interview. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
All right. My name is Jim Griffin, and I am a senior manager at Staples at the Hagerstown Retail Distribution Center, which services a large portion of the Staples network, about 520-something stores that they service, and we distribute all the product to the stores.
All right. And what do you think interested you to join this line of work, or when you first were in college, what do you think sparked this interest?
Well, it's kind of interesting because I didn't really set off on a path to do exactly what I'm doing today. I had a business degree and just actually at the time fell into an opportunity. Started out as an internal auditor, traveling all over the East Coast for a retail company. And I guess in that sense, I stayed in retail the entire time during my career. But over that time period, when I was in school, unlike other people, or even today, where people even decide upon a major in sophomore year in high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, even up through almost junior year in college. So I ended up with a business degree and went down that road. So really wasn't sure what I was going to do. But I got out into the workforce after not getting a job when I graduated for a few months, and just glad to have a job. And then started traveling, and I traveled and I enjoyed it. And I got into the business end of it all. Internal audit paved the way for me to learn a lot about the business in a lot of different ways. So from there, I just, as opportunities came up, I just got promoted into a supervisor position within finance, and then went further into additional positions within finance, and then jumped around a little bit more. And then over time, just went back and forth into operations and finance, and held numerous positions. So all of them led to the position I'm in now, but my background's pretty diverse, and it's not just, accounting per se, or loss prevention or anything. I've done a whole variety of different things over the 30-something years or so of being in retail.
And do you think that when you were in college, if you would have followed a different path, how do you think it would have went? Or what were the different paths that you were thinking or given?
I actually, while I was in college, I went for a business degree. When I was undeclared, I actually thought I wanted to go into psychology. And after spending a lot of time in psychology, and I took a bunch of courses, and I took a lot of business courses as well, I realized I really didn't think there'd be much of an opportunity going after psychology. I thought if I had to do anything, I was going to probably have to go 8 years to school for a doctorate or something to become a psychiatrist or something like that. And the business degree seemed to interest me. So I ended up with a minor in psychology and a major in business. So at the time, would it have been different, I suppose, if I went into a different major altogether, marketing or, math or some other thing, but it turned out that way, so.
And do you enjoy working, or do you enjoy working at Staples, and how long have you been working there for?
Yeah, I'd say I do. I think I've been there 21 years. This is actually my 22nd year that I've been there. But I've been 4 years up in a home office environment, which is where the corporate home office is up in Massachusetts near Boston. I spent about a year in the field prior to that. Then I spent 12 years in one aspect of the business, in the fulfillment end of it all, and then now in the retail end of it. I do enjoy it. I think that part of that enjoyment, though, is not only working with a great group of people wherever I've been, but also I'd say making it my own. You know, I think that I've seen a lot of people that haven't continued to try to learn and grow and develop. You know, a lot of people think that companies have to provide that growth and learning and development to them. I think there is a certain responsibility by the company that they have to train you and all that. But I think that to really excel and do more and add more value, it's on you as a person to continue to grow and develop on your own and hone those skills and go after doing something different. And because I've done that, I think that yes, it's been fun and challenging. I've learned a lot, but at the end of the day, as long as I'm in an environment where I can continue to apply myself and the organization is receptive to that, then it's a great place to work. And so far, I've been fortunate enough to be in an environment where, for all the different people that I've worked for and in different situations, then I've been able to apply myself. It's been recognized and it's been good and rewarding.
So what does a day-to-day schedule normally look like at work?
It's funny because I really don't have I have a routine, but I don't have a routine. You know, a lot of my work, at least at this point in time, is somewhat self-imposed, and a lot of the positions that I've held over time as a manager has been self-imposed. You know, whether it's delegation, meetings, conference calls. There isn't any routine hour by hour type of work that I have to do and just crunch numbers and work on spreadsheets. And there was a point in time when I did some of that when I was in finance, where I would do month-end closing for finance, and you had to, accounting-wise, do things by certain end of the week or end of the day. But a lot of what I've gotten involved with, and I still do, is mostly self-imposed, meaning self-directed. I choose what I'm working on and what others are working on for me. So it depends upon what role I've been in, but right now that's where it is that I can pick and choose. I set my own priorities and kind of set my own schedule within reason. I mean, I have conference calls that I have to attend and meetings I have to attend that people have invited me to, so that's a constraint. But outside of that, I can pretty much dictate and drive what I need to and what I think is right.
So something that you had previously said, what are some challenges that you are faced with?
I think the biggest thing is things that are out of your control. You know, things that you have control of, you certainly can make the educated decision and calculated risks and drive the process or whatever you're doing. If you're being, I guess, if you fall victim to, outside pressures, something happens unexpectedly, and then now you have to react to that. Things that you don't have control over are probably some of the biggest challenges. But operationally, if you wanted to, get into that end of it all, within that building itself, some of the biggest challenges is people, is staffing. It's really a matter of during peak times when they need to ship a lot of product to the stores, and yet they don't have enough people on hand in the building to be able to produce the amount of work that needs to be sent out to the stores. So that's one of the bigger challenges, at least organizationally within that environment, is that the labor market is tough sometimes. We just can't hire enough people, and that makes it pretty challenging.
And what do you think or what sets Staples apart from everyone else or other distribution companies?
I think over the years, I mean, they've certainly changed. They just recently changed from about a year or so ago, from a public company to a private company. So that aside, there's a lot of changes there. But I mean, one of the things that has been good over the years, I think, is that they initially were, and for the longest time they were, very entrepreneurial. In a lot of the places that they bought out a lot of companies, and they kept that kind of entrepreneurial growth type of environment and culture, and they gave a lot of that autonomy and independence to each of the buildings within reason, but you had some flexibility and some freedom to operate the business the way that you had to do it. So I think that separated them a little bit. I think also culturally, I mean, they care about the people that work for them. It's kind of a family-oriented, even though it's a public corporation, or it was, they still have core values that are pretty important. I mean, they used to have care values, they would say, and the first two letters out of care were customers and associates. So they saw customers as their first and primary, responsibility and direction, but associates were second. Results and were further down the line. So on the belief that if you treat people right, customers and associates, then the numbers kind of play by themselves.
So thank you for giving me this time to interview you and share this information about what you do and who you are.
You're very much welcome. Have a great night.